Silence. I've done it that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was here last week.
All right, so you have an event then.
Talking Central Station now, right?
We're good, or?
Yes, you're
Okay.
on.
We have an event. There's a pull station that's pulled. All right, so you have it here. Alarm, acknowledge, silence. And in here, it'll show you here. It should say manual, meaning that there's a signal being sent to Central Station. And why is it not showing right now? I don't know why.
Because I'm offline?
No, offline will still send the
It'll
signal.
send it? Okay.
Correct. It will still send the signal, except it says sensors on.
Sensors off.
Sensors
No,
on.
no, no. Just hold on. Now,
Want to put it back in and then reset and then.
No, we should get one of these things go
Yeah.
off to go here.
it doesn't communicate. Okay. It did.
Let me try something else here.
Also, the central station uses two dedicated phone lines.
Correct.
Yeah.
We should know the numbers because, in case, one line goes down, we need to notify Verizon. Yeah, it usually has two dedicated phone lines only for the central station.
So we should get we're in the
Yes, in the telecom room on C2, we have to identify which lines are those for the central station.
Okay, see zone 9 alarm. Zone 9 alarm. Okay. Let's try this here. Okay, so right now I have a manning station and a I can't see that.
Says system trouble, zone 9 alarm. Zone manual alarm.
Alright, you do have it. It did come in.
Yeah. It's just.
Alright.
Yep.
So yeah, so you didn't really have to acknowledge and silence there then.
No.
Alright, so that's what happens. And you have an alarm, it'll transmit here to the central station, and if the fire department or the central station is alerted that there's an event in this building here. Once you clear the alarm, you'll notice here that we'll lose, or that we should lose. Oh, there we go. You shouldn't have to, okay. We lost the automatic alarm, but we didn't lose the manual alarm.
Yeah. Just now we don't have an indicator on the central station. Manual, yes, are on, but how about auto?
The auto was there, and it just, I think we're gonna have to do that over again. There's no audio again. Oh, wait a minute. Alright, so we're scrolling through the menus here. There is no manual alarm, so we pull the pull station. You get the alarm here, you hear a click. These are the interface modules that send the signal to this thing here, to the transmitter. There you go. There's that manual alarm. Alright, once we clear the alarm, you shouldn't have to reset the
Usually,
But it might-
that goes off as well. The central station transmitter goes off, and once you hit the reset, that automatically clears.
that should clear.
Yeah.
Alright, it cleared already.
Yep.
Alright, so then that's what it was. It might have got hung up because we have so much stuff going on with it. But yeah, so you have a pull station here, or you have any event, the panel will transmit the signal to the transmitter via these interface modules here, and the central station will respond, whether it be call somebody to tell them that there's an event in the building, or the fire department responds on an alarm.
But basically, that top box, we don't really have.
You really don't
No,
have to touch
it
that
should,
at all.
it should. Once you hit
Right.
the system reset,
Down
it should,
here,
it should clear the
says,
central
yeah,
station
really,
transmitter
yeah.
too. Yes.
But sometimes the alarm, you'll hear an audible alarm, you'll have to hit that silence
Yep.
button up
Yeah,
there.
if you're having an audible alarm here, yeah, you just hit the silence button right here. But you shouldn't have that. And maybe you'll have it if you had a clear system and something pops up. But now that you have, that you still have troubles posting in the panel, you don't have to acknowledge the silence. It'll do it automatically. But yeah, so you have 2 dedicated phone lines. If one should fail, you have one for a backup. Also, if that happens, the panel would alert you, or the central station will alert you, because there's a daily test
Daily
that's
test, yes,
sent.
conduct, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's conducted and
Certain hours.
They do the,
in
they do the
morning,
telephone line test
yeah,
every
yep.
day.
correct. Correct.
Make sure that.
That
The line
the
is
line is
clear,
clear,
they
that the
get
line is
the-
clear, and they're getting signals back
Yeah,
and
back and
forth.
forth, yeah, correct, okay.
Right, they send a signal, and then they
Right.
send a handshake back telling you that, all right.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Now,
And I
the
think-
last place I worked, if there was a problem when they did the daily signal test, we used to get a phone call. What happens if there is a problem? Who gets the phone call?
whoever set
Who's
up,
gonna-
whoever
Yeah,
set up
so
with
we
the
don't-
central
Who's,
station.
oh, okay. Well, it's gonna
We
be
are not
something
set up
so-
yet. So basically, that would be property manager, resident manager, and
Here's who's getting it right now. I'm on the list.
you are on the list. Okay.
It goes out to Amy Olivic, Elena, myself, and Tom Moore.
Okay.
We get, but these are, they're coming in randomly, it seems. But whatever.
Well, when do they come in? If we're not, if an alarm comes in and we're not offline?
Not, a phone call like that,
Or
when they do the
disconnect
daily
connection.
test.
Your emails, actually.
Okay, got it. That there's no connection.
Yeah,
or
there's
something's wrong.
different types of
Yeah,
notifications.
there might be
You
a
should
trouble
get
on the
emails.
line,
Okay.
which might be a Verizon problem.
Right.
It could be a Verizon problem, then if they get.
Correct, but that won't post here in this panel, that'll
No,
post here
That
in this
won't
panel.
there.
Right.
Right.
And the transmitting equipment is down on level C2 in the
Yep.
telephone room.
Telephone.
Well, that's where the phone lines are coming
Yeah,
from, but
yes.
the equipment, the transmitter is this is here.
This one. Yeah.
One more thing too, each of DGP panel has
Security box, right?
a security, correct. So if somebody opens the door, you'll get a security
Already
here.
on there. Okay. So
Right, telling you
yeah.
that that door is open, or someone messed with that door. We currently have one right now, which is 51st floor, the tamper is open. So, again, this is press telling you it's clear. When someone opens, you get the trouble here. And sometimes it's just a matter of that the latch here has probably been out of place, and it's not making proper contact with the tamper.
Okay.
You just probably have to bend the
little
latch
more,
in a little,
yeah.
right?
Make the proper contact.
Correct. Correct. Now, and if you need to go into the panel as well, you could pull back this here, and that'll clear the tamper on the door.
Okay.
On the door. So that's that. And I think,
Yeah, the
anything
reason we
else?
have the number of troubles is due to the fact that we don't have, many of the floors are still valved off. For
Right, that's-
sprinkler protection, the tamper switches, that's why we have a number
Tampers,
of
all
those.
tampers, yeah, they're all
Correct,
tampers.
until the floors get opened up, tested,
Okay.
and TCO'd, they'll still come up as
As,
troubles.
correct.
And even if we clear, it'll just come right back up.
Yes.
Okay.
Even if you reset it, it'll come back up.
Yeah, just come right back up until, like Peter said.
Right.
Got it.
Until you open up all the tampers, then you'll get a
And the
system
system's fully
running.
running. Okay.
Right. I think anything else or
I believe we went
we're
over
good.
everything, yeah.
All right,
Well, we're comfortable by myself.
I guess.
all right. We didn't discuss the walk test. What the walk test is, it disables all your outputs and puts the panel in test mode. So your outputs would be your shutdowns, your elevator recalls, your audible visuals if you have some.
Outputs to the floor, so you're saying that it's basically all that stuff.
Correct. So it would disable all of that. So you wouldn't have an event, you have an alarm, you wouldn't have any of those things that correct. So it wouldn't kill anything at all. It wouldn't set off anything at all.
So you would be able to make an announcement if
You
you're
can
in a
do
walk
you can
test?
do an announcement because you're manually doing it. But if you have an alarm condition, it won't shut down your fan. Like I said, elevator recall, it won't do any of those things. So you can do a walk test. There's different ways you can do per floor. You know same thing, the same way we doing this the disarms, the same way you can do the walk test. So and you can do the whole entire building as well. So I'm gonna start with the whole entire building. You hit the menu, or you hit the maintenance, and you should be in geographic view, and you want to see campus. Campus is the whole building. All right, once you're in campus, you hit the walk test button. Password is 5 zeros again. Done. And it'll show that's enabled for you. That's available to you by the enable button lit up. Okay, and once you hit the enable, providing that there's no supervisories, because having supervisory on the panel will not allow you to, or an alarm will not allow you to go into walk test. So I won't be able to show you exactly what happens, but I'll tell you. Once you get the walk test, you'll get a partial system disabled light come on, and then at the main screen, right here, you'll see a walk test and a countdown for 4 hours. All right. Once the 4 hours expire, you can either let it ride and reset to clear the walk test, or if you want to extend the 4 hours, you come back and
Do it again, right?
doing the same thing, right? Menu, maintenance, walk test, and you have here instead of showing you disable, it'll show you extend if you want to extend it. If you want to disable it, it'll say cancel here, and it'll count down. No, I don't think it'll count down a minute. That's another panel. But yeah, it'll delete the walk test, and you'll see that the partial system disable light goes out, and then you're back in normal operation. You still have to reset the panel though to clear the walk test alarm or the walk test trouble message. All right, but once you're in walk test, like I said, all your outputs are disabled. So if you have an alarm, the only thing that you'll get here when you're in the walk test menu is a little screen that pops up. There's an alarm at pull station, whatever.
Bobby, do we have requirements by New York City fire code for walk test? And if it is, how often?
What do you mean? Like,
Walk test, so how often do you do that? Is it recommended or is it required to do that?
my personal opinion, I wouldn't use a walk test because by doing so, you're disabling the whole
For
building.
a certain amount of hours.
For 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
You're disabling the whole building. So if you're working on the 4th floor, let's say, and then you have an event on the 10th floor, if you're not here staring at this panel, you're not gonna know there's an event on the 10th floor or 11th floor.
So let's say if the technicians are doing the semi-annual testing or annual testing, they could do walk tests,
They
right?
will do walk tests because usually we keep somebody at the panels
Yeah.
while somebody's walking around, activating all the detectors.
Okay.
And again, like I said, if you have an event, it'll only pop up here. It won't make any noise. It'll just pop up.
So basically,
telling you
the
that there's
person
an
has to be
event.
present in front of the panel to catch this.
Correct. So that's the only issue. So my preference, my personal opinion, I wouldn't use a walk test at all. I would probably just
Understood.
If you're gonna use a walk test, maybe disable like a section at a time. You know, or if you're
Not
gonna,
the whole building, entire building, by choosing the campus.
correct. So it's the same way you put this in walk test, the whole building in walk test, you could do a little section at a time. By how we broke it down with the floors and the devices. So again, if you have an alarm or supervisor present, you cannot go into walk test. You will have to clear. You have to clear the alarm. You have to clear the supervisory, whether it be by an action taken or disarming that point, and then you're able to put the system into walk test. All right. I mean, there's other options that you have, but you currently don't have here. You could, but you really don't need it because you have no audible visuals. But you can also add like function keys. You can add function keys to disable the elevator recalls. You can add function keys to reset, right? Like shortcuts to disable your fan shutdown. You know, that'll eliminate the walk test, and you'll get by doing so you'll get the actual alarms come up on front screen and alert whoever needs to be.
How do you add substantive functions?
Well, that has to be programmed in.
That
Oh,
was the
okay,
program. Okay.
Right, so then that's your walk test. Again, you won't be able to do it if you have the supervisory, so I can't really show you exactly what happens when we enter walk test.
Okay.
But I can say that the system disable light comes on and you get a 4-hour window, very small, it says walk test 4 hours. And if you're unsure how much time is left, you can come here and it'll tell you the countdown, what's left there.
Okay.
To extend and disable, you have it there. You go back to the same menu and you can extend and disable there. But that's pretty much it. So I think we're
Restart HVAC.
This is the internet
Go ahead. Tony, share.
the training where you guys operate.
See, give him a toy, right? Oh my gosh.
Tony, how do you HVAC reset again? I forgot.
All right.
well. Why don't we acknowledge first? But let's acknowledge what we have.
Okay. We're done.
Now we're good. Now we're all acknowledged.
And we got
Now we can
we got
reset.
an ace on our sleeve right here.
HVAC restart.
So now you want to go to
Menu.
And touch. Yeah. You guys.
And execute.
And then
That's to get the fans on, right?
Correct.
That'll bring the fans back on and you'll be back to
Yeah.
Correct. Now, how about disable? Let's disable. Let's say the pull stations on the 42nd floor.
Well, now I have a question. What it says HVAC restart after system reset.
Correct. That's you. In other words, clear the alarm before you reset.
So you have to
cannot-
acknowledge the alarm, and then it'll do. You don't have to actually reset the
No,
system.
you have to
physically reset the
you
system.
have to reset the alarm. So there should be no,
Clear it, reset it, and then do
Correct,
HVAC
that's a
reset.
correct
Gotcha.
Sequence, okay.
All right. So now you want to go to
Here we go. Maintenance.
maintenance.
More info. Oh, then you gotta do the geographic view. More info. Right?
actually escape, and that'll bring you to
The first, okay. Escape
There you
again.
go. Yeah,
Now we're on the
42nd
second
floor.
floor.
Because we scrolled down to 42.
Okay.
So
Let's-
if you,
Let's disable here on the first floor. Smoke detector in the lobby. More info. Yes, and we see the devices.
First floor smoke area smoke.
residential lobby.
Okay.
More info.
Nope.
How about control?
Control.
Okay. Good.
Zero,
Password.
zero, zero,
5
zero,
zeros.
zero.
One more. Come on, give me one more. There it is. And now,
Yeah. What do you want to do? Design.
disarm it.
Touch that.
You know,
And hold on, is it already? No, execute.
and execute.
Beautiful. So you see the indicator on the left that partially disabled.
correct.
All right. Time to get out of here.
Escape.
You could go cancel, cancel, or you can go menu alert. Will bring you back to the main screen. Alert.
Now we're logged out.
Alert on the left, yeah. Home screen. Okay.
Not acknowledge that. So now you want to go to security.
You still have an active because you see the flashing.
Blinking. So keep going again one more time, Tony.
What?
Now you can acknowledge that trouble.
I gotta put it in independent.
System reset?
No, you're gonna just
Because now we have 50 something supplies.
right.
So now you want to go. Now you want to go back to.
Troubles.
So you want to go back and manually.
I missed that part. With the, because they're showing in there
We're gonna put it
now.
back
There's,
in.
so like we have to clear all those supervisories before we go to troubles? All 50 something?
No, you do it once.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
have to clear all of them.
all, right.
Alright.
There you go.
So what do you press done?
Done.
And then on.
And then arm.
Touch it, push it in. Go back.
It won't let you arm it?
Execute. Do you have to acknowledge it?
You shouldn't have to, but are you in the right spot? No, because you're highlighting, something that's already, and you're already cleared the.
So it's good now.
Yeah, because you can see that partial system disabled light is gone. now.
Gotcha.
So now let's, why don't
We disarmed it.
you disarmed it and then you rearmed it. Right.
By acknowledging it?
No. Because you had the partial system disabled light that was on, and when you rearmed it, you cleared it. There you go.
Now let's do it again. Now we're at the main page.
Okay. We're at the main page, we're at maintenance. Okay? Go. Control. Disarm.
It already is
It's already
disarmed.
disarmed. Now you want to alarm.
But now we want to put
You
it
want to
back.
arm to cancel?
So hit cancel,
Arm.
arm.
Execute. There you go.
That's it. That's
That's
all
it.
it's already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other
Why don't we,
Right.
why don't we disarm,
Next up.
why don't we disarm, let's say, loop 12.
Alright, so now you want to go. Oh, I'm sorry.
So, Route 12. Do I go for more info to go to the loops?
Go back. I don't know. Actually, no, I don't know.
Route 12.
I was start over.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah?
that little brother in the corner.
So now go ahead.
Maintenance?
Start over. Yep. There you go. Go to G-Ray.
Hey Bobby, can you
Now go back.
ask me something back?
Yeah, it's going to that.
How am I still like, refresh me, loops? What are the loops gonna look like that page?
I was on that
DGP,
page
right?
before.
Alright, so under maintenance,
Yeah.
physical view.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it going to there? Press escape.
There we go. What do you say, 12? Oh, this
The loop code right on the top. Control.
Bobby, you're not paying attention to our guys here.
Push it. Yeah, just tap it. It's not like our phones.
You guys got those sausage fingers, that's why.
Trying to say.
So all I want to do is just go back to disarm it, to arm it again.
Yeah.
So, cancel, right? That way you go to cancel first? And we just go,
So,
back.
Alex, you're in the building by yourself right now. There's nobody to ask.
He's calling you up, man.
We done.
No, you gotta go
it's
back.
not.
Cancel, you press the wrong one. You gotta arm it again. You disarmed it, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I disarmed it, yeah.
Yeah, so now you want to go back and you want to arm it.
Right.
So now you gotta
No,
control.
Hit on.
Yeah, did the same thing again.
There you go.
There we go.
Well, it's like a computer. It's got to
Gotta
do
get the
first
knowledge
one.
to it, okay.
It's got to do first one thing
Alright, so do
before
that
it
again.
does
Do that
another.
again. Do that again from the beginning. This on loop 14.
Back in my days, you had like riding bicycle, you got forward.
Yeah.
Well, it had like a half an hour to think before you're able to move on to the next.
Do it again.
Guys, Rico the elevator is the marketing casino from
What did you say?
And maybe just a little bit, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody was
Alright, now all again. Go back to the main menu. Go back to the main menu. I'll start from the beginning.
Just kidding. No, they're not here yet.
Main
They're
menu.
coming.
There you go. Don't.
I was doing it, just looking for it, right?
Let me see what is next.
Yeah, it's just navigating through.
Why don't we do an announcement?
Come on, you gotta do it. I have to.
Well, you don't, then don't talk into it, but just do the action.
Alright, so
So let's do an announcement. Let's say on the first floor.
just on the first floor?
Yeah.
All call, right?
Well, I don't know if you have anything on the first floor. I'm looking at it. On the fifth floor, let's make an announcement from the.
Yeah, Bobby, I received from Tim the fire alarm point, right?
Okay.
Excellent.
Does it say how many pages in there?
Let's see. That's a pretty big document.
What are we trying to do?
Making a call. No, you have to actually write.
No, just 80 pages.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not that much.
You wanna do a select page for 11th floor.
Say it again?
He says you want to do an announcement on the 11th floor.
That's what I'm looking for. No, just let us in the service. Tommy's there. So let's see how he's doing.
Alright, we'll be
Tom,
through it again.
Marketing,
Select
because
page.
Ruby's waiting.
Select
Tom,
page.
Top
bring
left.
the elevator down.
Yeah.
The Ruby's.
No, top left.
Top left.
Right above the mic.
Okay, okay.
Select page, you wanna hit the desired floor.
So do.
But I'm not going by this page.
No.
No.
So, I have to go. So where do I go from here? Oh, you're doing
Oh,
it
you go
here.
down to the
Alright,
bottom,
scroll down.
yeah.
Okay.
Which floor?
11th, instead of 11th floor.
11th floor. Speakers.
Ready to talk, right?
Talk. Say something. Say what's on your mind.
No, you don't. No, don't say what's on your mind. Don't say what's on your mind.
But if you notice though, if you notice that right before you keyed that, you had a pre-announced tone. Like key it again. Look at the screen on yeah. You see the green LED says
Pre-announced
pre-announced
tone.
tone.
Then I'll say ready to page.
Ready to page.
Okay.
That's when you're able to speak.
Okay, got it. So you have to wait for all that to go. Alright. That's it. Alright. Alright, so let me get another one.
Do you have to clear this now, or it's gonna play by itself?
It'll clear eventually by itself, but you can hit the button and clear it.
Okay. Let me see how we do this one.
Some of these are a lot more simple than just.
Did you guys try to
control panel.
announce your river? Yes.
The announcement? Yeah, he didn't actually say something. He just got to it and then.
But you guys
It
know
lit up.
when you take the
Yeah.
mic, it goes through the
Pre-announced tone.
Yeah. Wait.
So we don't have to do nothing here. We just have to
Just
go
there,
there.
select floor.
Unless you want to do, yeah, the all.
Or do all calls.
All right. So with nothing here.
Nothing
so
there.
so we can
Yes.
just go right here.
Right, yep, exactly.
All right. So you would say, all right. Say we want to do
The whole building.
Whole building.
all call.
That would be all, yeah.
And you look at the bottom, the lights came on.
And then everything's here.
you have to wait for the stop blank flash?
No,
they're good.
It'll be active, right?
Right, that means it's ready to page. When you pick up the mic, you get a pre-announced tone, and I believe that's when those things go solid.
Okay.
Let's pick it up. Now, the pre-announced thing. That's, okay, then what's in your key?
See, now they go solid.
That's the tone? Okay, now ready to
Then you can
ready to
talk.
start.
Go again, then hit it, or no, you just push down.
Right, hit it, hold it, go up, and then let go when you're done.
And then once you hang it up,
It should
it
automatically.
shuts it.
Well, once you hit the whole call, again, to deactivate it, then it'll clear the speaker.
Okay, so to make an announcement, you don't have to do nothing.
No.
You just go right here and
Right.
Now, and again, so I know you touched this, and it's just now more repeating it because now we're doing it. All evac will the sound to the speaker back to the whole building, the alarm that we
All
heard.
evac will do,
We could do a select floor.
you can do a select, correct.
Right, to do a certain floor, you go to select page.
Select page if you wanna, if
And
you
then
wanna
just
make an
pick the one you
announcement.
want.
Right.
And
Select
just
page
pick-
if you wanna make an announcement, select evac if you want
It's
to.
just signal, right?
To the right of select page, Tony, on the top left, in the middle, right there. Yeah, you can. That's if you just want to do sound alarm. But can you just let's say if I want to let's say I want to evacuate 11 and 12, can I can select as
hit
many
multiple
floors as possible. Okay,
Right.
cool.
Right.
Got it. And what? Okay, fantastic.
Now, Bobby, if the police.
Just like Christmas.
Fire
Gotta go protect
department
that,
comes
gotta
in
run through
here,
this whole thing,
and they
huh?
want it back, they know how to use this, right? The fire department.
Probably not.
So you may need to speak.
That was my like,
You guys say, guys, I gotta get guys out of those, 22 and 23, so they're
So
going
now-
to you, so you've got to be able to.
There's no front
get
door
the
anymore, right? There's no front door. So again, a lot of this stuff, like I'm just curious, like at night by myself. I mean, you work 12 to 8. Sometimes you're here till midnight. Let's say an alarm does go, right, and we're not offline. They're not. Like, I mean, they're not gonna be. We're not gonna try and call the security guard.
Actually, to be honest, like, if you have a fire guard here, I think they're gonna be operating kind of more. They
Yeah,
are.
no, he's not here though. Let's say
Yeah,
after
they're
4 or
not
5
here now.
o'clock at night. But even still, like he might not be here.
I know you have 24-hour here.
Not right now.
Not right now.
No, not right now.
But there
But
should
once
that security guard should be a fire guard, right?
Right.
All right, good to know. But
concierge.
right now,
Yeah. Right.
Concierge with the,
Not a
Yeah,
fire
I
guard.
would think
It's
that
not gonna be
they
a
would
fire
have the
Yeah, all
necessary
right.
certificates to operate the panel.
I don't know, Peter, residential.
Is that gonna be nuts?
You might not need
They
it.
won't
but
have
it always takes so
to operate the panel,
when they
to operate
leave.
this shift, so it'll be all on you guys.
So what happens is, in a residential building, this is mostly, operating engineer on duty. Is the first responder.
Okay.
So you're gonna be, even the concierge might alert you, hey, and we have the downstairs in the office, in our
That will
office.
know also as soon as him.
Yeah, so you're the person responsible. He can help you identify the problem and
Okay.
say, you're
It's
downstairs.
here. Yeah.
And on the radio, on our two-way radios, which I know you will get it, you will be communicating with the concierge. Hey, I'm heading to 48th floor to identify the smoke alarm.
So now, with our monthly standpipe testing that we do, at my old buildings, we had the FSD clearing the alarms, resetting everything, and then we would do it. That's going to be us now.
That's operating engineers. That's why I mean, asking you to get the S95 supervision for fire alarms.
Well, now that you mentioned the standpipe testing, you're gonna have to call it offline first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I don't know if you want to recall the elevators because if you're setting
Take care of that, Tony.
Taking it up and
There we
down.
go.
They're gonna be up and down, right? So then you probably wanna. Why don't we do that? Then why don't we do that? Because you have elevators on the 62nd floor, and I think you have elevator machine room on the
C2.
C2.
But basically, we will, until the restaurant is open, we need to take care of the 3 cars, P1, P2, and
This
S1.
one, right.
Those 3
Yeah, in
cars,
this situation.
which are controlled from the elevator mechanical room for 63rd floor.
Now, if you're unsure what the addresses are, or you can't locate it on the panel, you could always refer to the drawings and see what the addresses for those devices are. And you can disable them point by point, or if you find the group they're in, you can disable the whole group.
Now, this is for when we do standpipe or sprinkler testing. When there's water flow, we call offline. You're gonna send the elevators down.
That is
themselves.
true.
Correct.
But I mean, when is an ideal time to do it for residential?
During the day operation, we will have to do the monthly inspection, and as you know, visual inspection is one part of the job, but also as a Q1 holder,
You go to the floor,
you
you're
are
in the
eligible to run the monthly fire pump test.
Okay, right.
Test.
Yeah.
We're gonna probably do that.
All elevator interface.
Not weekly.
trying to see this.
Right? You don't want to.
Alright, so I'm gonna start off.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think we touched the walk
Let me go
test.
back.
No, we did not.
How much
Walk
maintenance?
test, so no, we didn't.
More info.
Yeah.
What is it you're actually doing?
Disable the elevator recall.
Oh, okay.
Guys, we have one more topic to touch, so let's get
Alright,
Bobby
so I went right here.
clear everything.
Now I went to C2 level, because that's where the elevator machines are. And then it says elevator interface. More info. Control. Password. Disarm. And that's it.
That's if you have one in there only. But on the 62nd floor you have
two.
You have
Well,
actually
three. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, three for both passengers and
Right.
as well.
three. So you can do like he did it one by one, by hitting the more info at that group, or you can do the whole group at once.
You go to 62, just and say they'll say
P1,
three
P2,
there, right
that's
there.
one.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's one.
Right. So you could do a one by one there.
Or you can just do all three.
From the
all
screen
three of them
before.
by- Correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
From right here?
Right there.
Correct.
So I would just do that. Control. Password.
Password. Decide.
Okay,
Okay.
Go
let's
ahead.
get Bobby here now.
Bobby, who's gonna do
Okay.
All right. I don't think we touched
This
the
covers it?
walk test.
Yes.
Okay.
We already said it 20 times, but they needed me to say it for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
Something about the way you sound.
Okay.
Well, you know what it is? Those
Now-
coming from the left.
Smoke,
Yeah.
elevator smoke, and the
What's the
sprinkler.
deal?
Locked in.
So 3 devices on the 3rd floor.
Right.
Panel showing that.
This is what the live interactive
Correct.
piece
Right hand
where the building
So let's
maintenance,
say we have
the
DGP
operating
in our
engineers
office, right?
are
Next to
going
the
to
computer.
exercise
Let's say the alarm
using the
smoke
fire
head
alarm
goes
panel and
off in
changing
the
the
office.
command.
Give me a couple tests.
That's tied into
That
that.
shows DGP right there.
Yes.
C2.
So
Think
it
about
sends
it in
this.
terms of like an electrical closet. Little panels on it.
That serves, yeah, that serves
All
these
the
floors.
smoke heads are circuit breakers.
Okay.
Tied into that panel.
Exactly. Very good
It's
analogy.
a repeater, in other words. It's a repeater. I think it's every 2, 3 floors. You have a DGP panel. So, and it's no different from this panel except that this one has controls on it.
Okay.
Okay, very lovely.
Tony can touch it and I get in trouble now.
Okay, let's go to the next section of the training, okay?
We would like to
Oh, now we're rushing through. We gotta get our training here. This is it. We're done. Hands on.
yeah, that's it.
Bobby's gonna give you some tasks to do.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're doing it that way?
restart.
We could disarm.
Give us a test, Bobby.
Like, roll.
No, HVAC restart.
Hands on.
Panel showing that.
This is what the live interactive
Correct. Like
piece
hands on.
where the building
So let's
maintenance,
say we have
the
DGP
operating
in our
engineers
office, right?
are
Next
going
the
to
computer.
exercise
Let's say the alarm
using the
smoke
fire
head
alarm
goes
panel and
off in
changing
the
the
office.
command.
Give me a couple tests.
That's tied into
That
that.
shows DGP right there.
Think
C2.
So
think
it
about
sends
it in
this.
terms of like an electrical closet. Little panels on it.
That serves, yeah, that serves
All
these
the
floors.
smoke heads are circuit breakers.
Okay.
Tied into that panel.
Exactly. Very good
It's a
analogy.
repeater, in other words. It's a repeater. I think it's every 2, 3 floors. You have a DGP panel. So, and it's no different from this panel except that this one has controls on it.
Okay, very lovely.
Tony can touch it and I get in trouble now.
Okay, let's go to the next section of the training, okay?
We would like to
Oh, now we're rushing through. We gotta get our training here. This is it. We're done. Hands on.
Yeah, that's it.
Bobby's gonna give you some tasks to do.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're doing it that
HVAC
way?
restart.
We could disarm.
Give us a test, Bobby.
Like, roll.
No, HVAC restart.
We already said it 20 times, but they needed me to say it for some reason. I don't know.
Okay.
Something about the way you sound.
Okay.
Well, you know what it is? Those
Now-
coming from the left.
Smoke,
Yeah.
elevator smoke, and the
What's the
sprinkler.
deal?
Locked in.
So 3 devices on the 3rd floor.
Right.
Go back. Now go back. Now go back.
All right, next subject we're going to touch is system maintenance, and we're going to move down to power down and power up procedures. In the event that there's something that you need to, for whatever reason, you need to power this thing down, the first thing you do is obviously open it up. Here you can see the power supply. The batteries are down here. You're gonna have to first, to power it down, you're gonna have to first disable the batteries, which is, you can come here and hit the off button, or you can physically do it at the battery itself.
And
Point
this
the
can
batteries.
The batteries are right here,
in that cabinet again.
in the cabinet right here, correct. So you can just, or you can pull out here If you're unsure, you can pull out this cord right here. This is the batteries right here.
Okay.
So, but the way I would do it is just hit the off button here, that'll disable the batteries, and then to disconnect the power, this is, you take it off here.
Yeah, Bob, what would be the reason that they would need to have to do this?
Maybe there's a flood, and you don't want to further
electronics.
damage anything, and you want to power it down. So you do that, or maybe the batteries, or you have a power outage. I don't know if you want to keep the batteries on, or you know.
Well, power outage, this is on emergency power,
Oh yeah, true.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so then that's how you turn. That's how you'll turn off this.
I'm sorry, emergency power, that means once the generator comes on, this will be, or is it just battery power?
This has battery power
Right.
in case the generator fails.
In case the generator fails.
Right, because once the power is out, the generator kick in
Now, those
and-
batteries will probably got to be changed like every 2 years.
every 5 years.
Every 5 years,
Correct.
okay.
And now those batteries will carry the system for that period of time when the
The,
generator
the,
starts
the,
up.
the batteries should hold it for, I believe, half an hour in full alarm, which, I mean, you really don't have much because you don't activate anything. And 24 hours, just
Just to understand,
backup,
yeah.
right? Just on standby. Right, so now we power down. To power up, you gotta do it in reverse. So first you power and then click on your batteries. So you plug it in here and you'll see the lights come on. And then hit the batteries on. This is one way of doing it. You could also go to the fuse disconnect, which is right on top here. Of course, first disable your batteries, disconnect the batteries, whichever method you want to use, and then just kill the switch. And that will power down this panel here. Same goes for the DGPs. Pretty much the same setup for the DGPs, except there's no screen on it.
All right, who's got the key for the lock so we can actually instantly have to pull the switch?
That I would speak to 5-star for the key.
But in normal conditions, shouldn't we have the padlock on it? Is that a requirement? for fire
That's
department?
requirement,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, that stays on. The power disconnect stays on and it's locked.
So that would be your.
Yes, we need to, as an owner, we have to put it.
So we can put our own padlock on it,
Yes,
so we got the
and
keys.
we should
Okay.
keep the keys in the office, in the secured location.
Alright, so then just to review, to power it down, kill the batteries, disconnect it,
disconnect.
whichever method, whether it be disconnected here or killing the night switch. To powering it back on, you put the power on first and then the batteries back on.
We plug the batteries back in and flip it on, right? Or you
Now
said-
to power it up,
Yeah.
to power it up is first power, then batteries. To power it down is first batteries and power.
Right, okay.
Alright, that concludes that subject there. We can move on to test methods and test frequencies. I believe by code is, for adjustable devices is once a year, for conventional devices is twice a year.
So semi-annually and annual testing is
Oh, for testing.
for testing.
Yes, but you also need, like you said, you need a certificate of fitness in
Yes,
order
it's
to
a
do,
qualified
to do the
person
testing.
who can do the testing.
Correct.
Even with the fire supervision certificate, we are only allowed to do the visual inspection. So you
Right.
can look at it, identify the problem, but you are not able to test the alarm and certify that it
We're
was.
only allowed to, yeah, I know, we're only allowed to do visuals.
Yes.
What green lights do we have at the smoke purge? What are those about?
The dampers are open right now for stair A and stair B.
Okay, it's
And it was just probably because we're powered up, we're powering up.
for the start of sequence. Okay.
So now this is a smoke detector. This is a smoke detector we have one in the building here.
Hey guys, let's see this one close.
In the event that you do have to come in and either clean it out or whatever you need to do with it, you just twist it right to the left, pull down the smoke detector. You have two little notches here. You just press them in. Let's see if I can do it with this. Here and one on the other side.
And that will.
And that'll open up the smoke detector here. Once you get to this point here, you have a little chamber. This is the chamber that you need to clean out in the event that you have a pre-dirty or dirty smoke detector. You clean it out with a brush or a can of air.
Yeah, compressed air.
Right, compressed air. And then same way you take it out, same way you put it back in. Just be careful with this LED here. And you can see the notches. And then the smoke detector. And again, you have the little
Something fell out.
LED.
All right, like I said, be careful with the smoke
Yes.
detector.
Now we know that you have.
I don't know not to turn it upside down.
And just put the smoke detector back in. And you hear a click, and you're done with this. You can snap it back in. And it should come back into.
So normally in the active operation, this lights up as a green one, blinking green. When it gets active,
It'll blink
yes,
red.
flashes red. So
Correct.
that's how you identify the alarm goes off on the.
And if
on
it's
this,
if it's pre-dirty, you get like an amber color,
amber color,
which
for the
is
pre-dirty.
very close to the red.
Okay.
So,
It's like an orange color.
yeah.
Right. All right.
So
that
that's
pre-dirty, how's that gonna come up on here?
pre-dirty will come in as supervisory.
Right, okay, supervisory. And that'll give us hey, go check this out.
Correct. Pre-dirty will come in as supervisory. Dirty will come in as a trouble.
Okay, got it.
All right. Once it comes in as a trouble, I think at that point it's just best just to replace the smoke detector
Right, okay.
and not even try to clean it out. I think, and like I said, for adjustable devices is once a year. For conventional is twice a year. And I think that wraps up that.
Yes. Now the parts.
Okay, next subject we're going to touch is voice evacuation controls and indicators. We're going to start off with paging. Like I said, in the event that you have an alarm, there is no audible visuals, so you will have to make the announcements or the evac tones. You can do that by picking up the mic, hitting the all call, and this will do
Entire building.
the entire building. Key the mic, you have a pre-announced tone, and the panel will tell you when you're ready to talk, when you're ready to speak into it. And you make your announcement. Once you're complete with the announcement, just let it go, and it'll clear on its own. That'll do the whole building, and you can see here at the panel that you can see at the panel here that all the speakers on all the floors are lit up.
So they're
telling
active.
you they're active, correct. You can also do
Individually, right?
correct. You can do also a select page. You hit the select page on the top here, and then you can hit the desired floor. Where are we? First floor. You make your announcement, like I said, you might not hear it because you're picking up another floor. You see the pre-announced tone, and when it's ready to page, or that means you're ready to speak into it. So you make your announcement, and it's only the floors that
You chose to talk, right?
Correct.
When they make announcement.
Correct. Correct. You have that. You can also do an all evac, which is like the alarm tones, and just hit the button, and then I don't know if you could hear it. There we go. So you do an all evac. There we go.
All evacuation.
All evac. You key correct. All evac. You key the mic, and you'll get that throughout the building. You could also do a select evac, which is the same thing as a select page, except you'll get that tone as opposed to, announcement
Is that going through the
capabilities.
whole building right now?
Yes.
Make an announcement.
That's just testing.
All right.
Make a general announcement.
Testing.
May I have your attention? May I have your attention? We're currently conducting tests of the fire alarm system. Please disregard any alarms you may see or hear. Once again, we're currently conducting tests of the fire alarm system. Please disregard any alarms you may see or hear.
So that's what we're going to do also in-house testing the speakers and like.
All right, so like I said, all call will do the whole building. Select page, you press that, you hit the desired floor, you key the mic, you'll get a pre-announced tone, and it'll indicate ready to page when you're able to talk. All evac is this, will give you that alarm sound throughout the building. Select evac would only give you the desired floors that was pressed. All right, and then the lamp test, of course, is just giving you all the light sequences on everything that has a light on it. So, referring to the buttons here.
So the lamp test is just testing the lamps on the panel?
Testing the lamps here, that's it.
Okay.
Here and all of this here. It won't do anything up here.
Okay.
All right, so then that was your all call, select page, all evac, and select evac. Anything else with that, or? No, we're good? All right, so then we can move on to miscellaneous controls and indicators. You have a purge system, you have generator status as well. Your generator status will come on only when the generator kicks on. Other than that, or if there's a failure, it'll kick on here, a yellow light and I believe a green light if it's on. All right. You have a purge sequence here. The only way to operate this is if you key the purge to turn on. So I believe it's a 1620 key or 2642.
So HVAC purge, what it does?
Hey,
Can
Bobby,
you?
isn't that for use by the fire department only?
That's just for use of fire department
Okay.
only. It should be tested though frequently, as far as I know. I'm not sure what the exact code is, but it should be tested frequently.
Can you go more into details what it does? Purge.
The only thing you purge in here is the stairs. So the only way to do that is if you put the key in.
It'll open the dampers up top? Is that what it'll do?
Yeah, it'll on top and the fans. Kick the
And the
fans
fans,
on.
okay.
So you know you enabled if you get the control enabled on. Then you have the option to exhaust the stair A or stair B or both.
Don't do it right now, don't do it right now. Might be guys up there working.
What situation would you enable the purge?
That's fire department
you have-
did say, right?
Right, well, you're gonna have to test it anyway. So if you have smoke in the stairs,
Yes.
so that'll evacuate, that'll
How to get rid of the smoke?
Exhaust the smoke.
I figured that, but I mean, I just wanted to confirm.
That's typically a post-fire event,
Okay.
and after the fire's out, and it's operated by the fire department.
So that would not be in like an evacuation situation, it would be after the fire, you're saying? After everything,
This is-
used for an evacuation, emergency, staircase?
Yeah, because what if there is smoke in that staircase and we got it, and everyone's coming down that staircase to get out?
About evacuation?
Yeah.
right. But this is technically it's used for fire department use only, and I believe it says that right here.
So this is another this is another procedure like with the fire service key for the elevator. Technically, we shouldn't be touching
Same
it.
keys to fire for the elevator?
It is the same key as the fire.
So technically, we shouldn't touch this.
Technically, you shouldn't touch it, but you do have to test it every now and then to make sure that it's operating as
Okay,
intended.
so that's the part of
But
it.
you get a green LED when you activate the purge, and you'll lose the LED when you deactivate the purge. All right, and then you stair A and stair B. You'll get the damper status, which is open or closed, red indicating closed, green indicating open, and you get a red indicating that the fan is running. That the fan is not running, and a green light that the fan is running.
Okay.
Right, and of course, like I said, the generator status comes on green when it's on, and I believe yellow if it's in trouble. Right, and you also have here, and this is not part of the purge, but you also have here the shaft and vents and the elevators. And I believe the only thing that activates those are the shaft or the elevator machine room detectors will operate those vents in the shaft. And if we want to look exactly at what operates these vents, we can always refer to the matrix, and that'll tell you exactly what detector or what events need to happen for the vents to activate or to turn on or open. Alright. Let's see.
Does this conclude this
It
section?
does.
Alright. Ready.
Alright, we have an active pulsation here. I'm just going to show you what it looks like when it's active, and I'm going to also show you how to reset it so you can clear the panel and reset the alarm. This is what an active pulsation looks like. See, there's a little gap right here. This is a spring load pulsation. So what that means that all you need to do to reset it is just open it up and close it right back. And now now this pulsation is reset.
What is your use to open that?
Yeah,
It's an Allen key. There
So
should
where
be
does it go, on
plenty.
top? In the
Yeah,
top
there's a
of
little
Siemens?
hole right
Oh, right
here.
there, okay, yeah, okay.
There's a small dot where you put the Allen key.
Right,
In order to reset
and
it.
you can also have, if you have an 11 and 1, that'll
Yeah,
also
that's
fit in
it.
there.
Can you just do it one more time so I can just see?
Yeah, not a problem.
Turn it.
You twisted
Oh,
left
you
and
just
right.
open it up
Correct.
and put it right back in.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Oh yeah, and then it actually comes off. It comes down like that.
Yeah, it comes
Cool.
down.
Alright.
Like I said, it's a spring load.
Yeah.
This will come back
And
up.
it'll come back
close
up.
it up.
Right.
Close it back up, and that pulsation is reset. At that moment now, you can come back to the panel here. You reset the panel.
And it will clear the alarm.
Right. And if you have other events, you're gonna have to reset the. I'm sorry, not reset, but acknowledge.
You use the alarm first, then
Correct.
you supervise, you secure it, and so forth.
Right.
So that thing might be beeping on you while we're doing this whole process of going
Correct.
through. All right, so all right.
Correct. Now, the pulsation doesn't do that, but if you have a smoke detector that goes off, depending on what type of smoke detector, it'll either recall your elevators and it will shut down your fans.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Okay.
if an elevator lobby smoke detector goes off, the only way to clear that will be either removing the head,
Yeah,
airing it out,
Yeah.
or just resetting the panel. Once you reset the panel and clear that elevator lobby smoke detector, then your elevators will come back.
Now,
Come-
in your
come back
experience in
on.
that situation, obviously, if elevators go, we have that elevator key, put it in fireman mode, whatever that is. And would we be okay to do that, or is that against FDNY protocol? Like, should we wait for them?
That elevator got to be down here when the fire
So
department.
we
goes
use
in.
that key, we put it down here for them, so it's ready for them to use. Don't leave it up top where it's gonna
It'll come
go.
down by itself.
It'll come down by.
Oh, that goes off, yeah, but we need the
In a
key.
real fire alarm, the fire department's got to handle
That
it.
will automatically drop down.
But the passenger elevators will stay at the top?
No, everything.
They'll come down?
Right, all elevators will come down to the lobby.
Yes, is a code.
Right.
Recall to the lobby.
Okay.
Everything gets recalled.
Correct. Everything gets recalled to the lobby, and the only way to clear that is if you clear the alarm, the elevator lobby alarm or water flow as well.
Yes.
Will bring the elevators back down.
Okay.
So water flows, what else? Water flows will recall the elevators.
Correct.
Any
Water
smoke heads?
flows, elevator lobby, smoke detectors, and smoke detectors in the elevator machine rooms will bring down the elevators.
And if you open that elevator machine room, that will stop the elevator completely, wouldn't it? If you open one of
Not
those?
the elevator machine room, but I think the shaft. If you,
The shaft,
open
we
up
need
the
that,
shaft.
yeah, the shaft, okay.
Chef, yes.
All right. If you have a smoke detector that goes off, I believe it shuts down your fans. You're gonna have to reset that manually here at the panel. You can't do it anywhere else but here. So once you reset the panel and clear the alarm, I believe you get an option here that reminds you to reset the fans. And the way to do that is if you hit the menu button, function keys, F1 on the screen for restart after system reset, and execute. And that'll restart your fans.
And the elevators
once you
will-
clear the alarm,
okay,
correct.
Okay, so
The elevators will come back online as soon as you reset. The fans by code has to be held out.
Okay.
And how do you restart the fan? You could do that again.
Yeah, well, let's do it again.
Sure. You hit the menu button, function keys, F1 on the screen, and execute.
What's that bottom left that's lit?
Which one?
That's a cancel.
Oh, that's cancel, okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
it's
cancel,
all
yeah.
right, so
If
yeah,
you're
no
not
worries.
sure,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have the option to cancel.
Gotcha.
So also, guys, the elevators have the light, fire light, which indicates that the fire alarm is active.
Okay.
You guys have seen it, right?
Yes.
Once you reset it,
That'll
it
go out.
exactly.
Correct. Once you reset it, that'll auto go out. Now, if you have the water flow will also do it. Now, if you have a water flow, that's something that you really have to go and investigate, because either you have a head that went and you have water gushing out all over the place, or it was just a false reading, which I don't know the reason why you had that.
Right.
But yeah, that can cause a lot of damage, and you gotta investigate right away.
So again, that one there, if there's water flow, we have to go take care of it before we acknowledge and reset down here.
Correct.
Just so it's not picking up any water flow.
Yeah, the common sense is to
Separate.
identify
Yeah,
the problem
yeah.
first
Well,
before you
what I would do-
acknowledge and
do this,
reset it.
yeah.
Yes.
I would investigate before you come down here and
Yeah,
start
of
messing with
course.
the panel.
So it might be, you know, the sprinkler head blown or the fire pump comes on, not necessarily.
Or you have,
That doesn't-
or there's an actual event and you know, one of the caps just,
Blew off and
Right.
water's
Yes.
going out.
right.
Okay.
And you'll have an elevator to get up there.
You'll have no elevator to get up there. I mean, if you have if you have, you know, you have 4 elevators?
Four, yeah.
I'm sure you can use one of them and keep the rest here for the fire department to come in, you know?
I would recommend to use S1 car.
First one we do.
But you definitely need an elevator for the fire department to come in and
Right,
respond.
yeah.
Because I'm sure they want to do their own investigation as well.
Yeah.
And how do you set the date and the time?
To set the date and time, you go back to your menu here. I'm trying to remember. All right, you're gonna have to give me a second because I don't remember.
Joe, you know how to reset the
The HVAC?
HVAC.
Yeah, that's what you
F1 and execute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think as long as you clear the alarm, and you give it the HVAC reset, all the dampers are open.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what he said, yeah. Yeah, you had,
Yeah, that's the only getting the issues back on the dampers open.
And the elevator back.
And that's still.
Crack units too.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. For you, if you want to set the time and date, it should not change from when we put in, but in an event that it does, you hit the menu button, you go to maintenance, control. Usually it asks you for a password. The password is 5 zeros, and it'll open up this menu, and then you hit the time and date, and then you can enter the time and date and execute or done, and that'll lock in the date and time that you put in. The only time you might have to change it is during daylight saving time, and that's the only time that you probably have to change it. Other than that, it should remain the same.
In order to pull up a history log,
Also menu, right?
Nothing here.
All right, if you want to pull up a history log, same thing, hit menu, take you to the main menus. You want to go to report, and here you have multiple options. History is the one that you want to pick, and then in here it'll give you from the last recorded event, or you can hit the settings button and request a
How to
time
sort
frame.
it.
Right. If you want to do it a couple of days ago, you know, you hit the start time, put in the date and time that you want to start the history from. Hit the done. If you want a stop time, then you go back to the same menu, which is settings. Hit the stop time, and it'll give you the events from that date on. And hit the view button, and the event log will pop up here. Again, you also have other options here. It's not just this one here. So for instance, if you want a little more details on a particular event, you hit the select button, and it'll give you the type, the time and the date that it came in. You hit it again, it'll give you the custom message of the address, and once more, it'll tell you when it came in and when and out. And to exit that, or to enter, or to come in back to the main screen, you hit the menu button and alert. That'll take you back to the main screen.
Menu button and alarm.
Menu button and alert.
Alert. Okay.
Right. Menu button and alert.
That's how to go back to the
To the
home
main screen, correct. Correct.
So that's the screen that should be showing
Yes.
at all. That's the home screen, not the menu screen, not the home screen. That's the
Correct.
So it's gonna say more like
Correct.
this.
This is
Siemens.
currently this is
Okay.
the what it looks like now. But once you have the system normal, it'll come up just a firefinder system, and whatever heading that you have here, I don't recall at the moment. But that'll be your main screen. That'll be the thing that you first see every time. Also, we want to hit the to disarm and rearm or put it in walk test. You hit the menu button. You go to your maintenance, and in there you have multiple options. Walk test, control. In the control, you can disable and disarm. Walk test will put your system in walk test, and what's that gonna do is just gonna disable your outputs. So you'll have no shutdown, no, if you have AVs, you'll have no AVs, and it only give you a duration of 4 hours. So if you need to extend it, you go back and you extend it the same way you put it in, which I'll show you now.
Bobby, excuse me, you said before, it's that's the menu which you're able to disable points.
Yes,
Like
you're able to
bypass
disable.
floors and stuff.
Correct.
Can you do an example of disabling a point?
Yeah. All right, no problem. You hit the menu, control. Let me just log out so you'll see the whole. Correct. Menu, maintenance. In here, you can disable the whole building. You can disable per floor. You can disable per type, per floor. For instance, so right now this is the whole building. You hit the more info, it'll break it down depending on what view you're in. It'll break it down by cards. So if you're looking to disable anything on loop 11, if you go to the card, you can disable the whole loop 11. If you're looking to disable, for instance, a floor, you change the view from physical view to geographic view,
And then it's by zones. Okay.
and then that'll break it down by floor.
Now this avoids us having to actually call Central Station and saying, "Hey, I'd like to go offline for 4 hours."
Well, I would go offline regardless.
Okay.
Right.
Because just to be safe, like as a backup, and we're still
Correct.
doing it here ourselves.
Correct. Correct. Like I said, you could do by floor. If you have a particular device devices that you want to disarm, then you can go to the floor, hit the more info, and that'll break it down by device type.
How about elevator recall? You want to disable elevator recall, it's not really floor specific.
If you want to disable elevator recall, I believe you go to where the elevator machine room is at, which I believe is at the top of the house. I think
Yes.
62 or something like that. Not here.
63rd floor mechanical.
There you go. You got the elevator interface. You can do all.
Passenger or.
You could do right. You could do disarm all recalls, or you could hit the more info if you have a specific one that you want to disarm. So in here you have here primary P1, P2, and S1 recall.
Okay.
You can do that one at a time, or you can do like I said the whole menu. All right. So once you're there, if you want to disable all of it, just hit the control button. Hit the 5 zeros, which is your password. Done. And it'll tell you here, arm, disarm. You want to disarm, and then execute. Once you execute, you'll get a partial system disable light pop up, and the trouble will come. The trouble would appear. And like I said, to go back to the main menu is menu, alert.
Can you recall the elevators from here?
If you energize that,
You
yeah.
have to
Right.
put the alarm in for that.
I'll show you how to do that, which I don't think you're gonna need to do that really, but I'll show you.
Just asking.
Right, but now but before we do that though, now that the point is disabled, it's showing you a trouble, and you gotta move to your trouble menu here, and it'll tell you here, 63rd floor, elevator P1, output disarm, input disarm.
Now you did that yourself. Let's say we're doing it for a purpose, right? This is work in the building to be done. Right after you disarm it, you're gonna go and acknowledge it just so you can stop beeping and like
Correct.
not be a nuisance, right? And
Correct.
that's fine to do, right?
Yep.
And then you arm it back on when the work is done.
This is yours until the fire department gets here.
Okay.
Once the fire department gets here, that's theirs. They do what they have to do, and then they'll release it back to you so you can reset it or whatever.
Right, I just don't want to acknowledge or reset anything else besides an alarm if I shouldn't, if I have to wait for them.
No,
every
you
time.
could acknowledge
Yeah.
and reset if it's not something that they have to come in and investigate.
Okay.
If you manually put an alarm in or disable something and you acknowledge and then reset the system, does it automatically go back to its normal operation, or do you have to go back?
You have to go back and rearm that point.
Okay.
So I can reset right now. Again, you know that nothing happened because you have that partial system disabled light that's lit. So yeah, you have to go back. And again, it's menu, maintenance, and then you can tell that it's disarmed by that full circle right here.
Yeah, okay.
And if it's not the whole menu, then you'll get a half moon here. So this is indicating to you that there's something disarmed on the 63rd floor. So if you scroll down to it, you hit the more info, and it'll tell you that all right, full circle is everything on this elevator interface is disarmed.
Just that one full circle.
Correct, the full circle, right?
Okay.
So half moon is telling you something in here is disarmed. Full moon is telling you everything on that is disarmed.
And would you scroll down to that, and that's
scroll
where
down.
you put arm again?
You scroll down. You can do one point at a time, or you could do the whole thing. So
Like from that point, you can just do the whole thing. You don't have to
Right.
do one point at a time.
right, from here you can do the whole thing. Correct. So you go to control. If your password's still active, then you don't need to do that. But if not, then it's the 5 zeros and done. And then you hit the arm button right here on the screen and execute. And notice that the partial system disable light went away. So now you know that you reactivated those points.
Yes.
Now, does the password cancel after a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I think it's like a minute or two.
Minute after it will
Right.
expire, and you have to put your
Right, then you can have to put the password. Or if you want to speed the process up, you can go to log out, and that'll cancel. And that'll take you out of the password. That's for your arm and disarm. Here, like I said, you can do it multiple ways. You can go by floor, which is probably the one that you want to use, or you can do by device type, or if you're looking for one particular device, again, you change the view, hit the more info, and you can go to the desired loop or circuit. So if you're looking for a loop 12, it might be easy to come into just 12 and then just choose the address that you want and disable it there. And what else?
That will conclude the maintenance.
Yeah, I think that's
Disarm set the time date.
all right. One more thing though, too. Also, now that you're still you have ongoing construction, your smoke detectors might change the sensitivity because it's taking in debris and dust. This will tell you here if it's pre-dirty, and then you have to take action, whether it be taking it down or replacing it. It'll tell you here pre-dirty, or if it's done, if it's dirty. At that point, I suggest just replace it, but it'll show you here. It'll go from supervisory pre-dirty to trouble that is dirty. That pretty much that smoke detector is done and either needs to be replaced or, thoroughly cleaned out. Also, you can go here in the menu button, reports, cancel that. And you can also grab the sensitivities here.
Yeah, we see that.
So you can go, let me just do the whole building. You go to status here. Status here, and then sensitivity, and it'll give you and view, and it'll give you the sensitivities for all the devices on the building. Or you can go to a specific point and request a sensitivity from that point.
So Bobby, these smoke detectors are not interchangeable?
They're not.
They're individually programmed.
They're individually programmed. You can interchange them, but if you put them in the wrong location, you're gonna respond to the wrong spot. So, for instance, if you put a smoke detector from providing that they're in the same loop. If you change them from another loop, it's gonna give you a custom message not programmed, meaning that it's not in the system and it does not recognize that address. But if you keep it within the same loop, if you change one from the stairs to the elevator lobby, and the elevator lobby goes off, it's gonna read out here the stairs.
Yeah.
So,
Told you that.
right.
If these guys want to have a stockpile or some panic stock with some smoke detectors, is that something that could be done even?
Yeah, you can have stockpiles. So and somebody comes in to troubleshoot, and they need a detector. You have one on site, and we can program on site.
We program
Right,
on site?
right. Sometimes not everyone has a smoke detector on hand, or they ran out of smoke detectors. And if you have one, we can program it and we can install it.
Or you can do it on site.
Do we program that ourselves, or you guys
No,
actually
no,
come
you
in?
have
That's
to.
you. That's your project.
Yeah.
When you have to do that when you change your device out, is it?
When I change the device out, correct?
Yeah.
It has to be programmed.
You have to
Right, you need a
assign the
special
address and all
tool, a
that.
special tool to program.
Yeah, got it.
So, I think we touched everything
So
on.
we're actually gonna replace them ourselves if we have to?
That's.
Yeah. Do we replace them at that?
Do we
Like,
replace
no.
them?
You cannot
Because it's not
you need-
programmed, yeah,
Correct, you
right.
need to address them.
So if we find one that's bad, it's clogged with dirt and all, we just make note of it and
Either you clean it out and see if it clears, or you call us in to come in.
I
and
think
program
that's the
and replace it.
protocol. You can't change it because it requires programming. So you guys, first responder, take the device, clean it out, blow it out.
just put a
try to
can of
get
air, we can just blow it out with a can of air, can of air.
I don't have a smoke detector on hand, but you open it up and there's a chamber in there, you gotta clean it out.
Well, I'm sorry. Let's say people are living here. Let's say we don't have any extra. Or even if we do, we can install it because you guys got to get here. How? Let's say it's at whatever day it is. Are you coming the same day, same time?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
how-
if
service.
you want,
Yeah.
if it's an
service.
emergency and you want us to replace it for whatever reason, you know, we have a 24-hour, providing that we have a contract with you guys, we have
Right,
24-hour
okay.
service.
I'm just thinking at night. Like if someone's living in
But
45A
something like that,
and they
something
need
like
it
that is
replaced,
not,
like,
it's not dire that you need someone to
Yes,
come in at
yeah,
12
okay.
o'clock at night to replace it.
well,
You know,
I
you
mean,
can
to
call.
program it though.
No, it's just a snap it in and you program the address on the head itself. You don't have to come here and
Okay,
do
alright,
anything
got it.
at all.
Alright.
So to answer your question, if there is an event in the apartment, let's say, you're gonna identify the problem and value how important that is. You can disable that module or that,
Okay.
that particular unit
You can
until
disable the module,
next
correct.
Until
next
the full
next
call.
day.
Okay, got
You know,
it. Alright.
we could pull the head
From
here, right?
Yeah.
And disable that over here. Just
Okay.
make a
Well,
notification
once you pull
that-
the head, there's no need for disabling because it's not going to do anything.
yeah, but the alarm will remain here on the panel.
It'll remain regardless if you take it out or if you disable it.
Yes.
You
So
will
we just have
have
to silence
a
it
trouble.
here,
Correct.
because it'll probably be beeping and
And you
then,
know, next visit, you know, the technician comes in,
They come in.
reprogram it,
Yeah.
and replace it.
Program a
Okay.
new head and then replace it.
Okay.
yeah, we won't be able to reset it here anyway because it's not there.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Correct.
So that's pretty much my question. Like, how quick do we need to get you guys in?
For something like that,
Yeah, you come like this,
yeah,
do
for
whatever,
something like
alright.
that, you don't need to. You need to probably if you have a whole circuit that's down, like a floor that's down. You know,
Like we
'cause you
could
have
do it
isolation
ourselves just by
modules.
replacing it up there, and they're good
Right.
to go.
Right.
Okay.
And the smoke heads in the residences are not tied into the central, are not tied into this
I
panel.
think only the elevator lobby smoke detectors are.
Elevator lobby, electric
Telephone closet.
telephone closet.
Right.
Service elevator lobby.
Correct. Yes.
And mechanical rooms.
Correct.
But the smoke detectors in the individual apartments are not tied into.
They are a combination, right? Smoke and CO detectors
Is it
in the
just
apartments.
local?
They are
Oh,
local.
they're just locals in case somebody's burning
Yeah.
their, you know.
Yeah,
and
they
he
just
just-
set it themselves.
No.
No heat detectors. I think the only, like I said, the only thing that we have is just elevator lobbies, electrical closet,
Mechanical
telephone closet, and mechanical rooms.
Yeah.
And that's it. The building or the rooms itself, the apartments itself, I think they have standalones, which is battery operated
Yeah,
or
but- yeah.
120 and battery backup.
Whatever.
Carbon monoxide
Yeah,
smoke
the
combination.
correct combination ones. Right, that does not report back to here at all. So if there's you know, one of those go off,
That's
Yeah,
their
we
call.
have
fire
the,
department.
we can
is not
have the
responsible for that.
in-house procedures how to handle those calls.
Does this conclude the
You're
general
right.
operation?
But I think there's,
Established later on.
yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Just want to make sure when I'm here.
All right, so now let me just show you here. This is when an active pole station looks like. Someone pulls a pole station, you get the event here at the panel. You hit the more info twice and I'll give you...
And that comes in as an alarm.
Correct, that comes in. If someone pulls this, the fire department is responding.
Okay, right away.
All right,
There's a central
correct.
station to call them, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, once you get here, you hit the more info and it'll tell you the address of the device, the location of the device, the time it came in, All right.
So more info, so when an alarm or anything comes up, the highlighted event or activity, if you hit more info, it'll drill down to that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. It'll drill down to time, date, device,
That's important
description.
for you guys to know.
Now, we can actually view what's going on before the fire department gets here. But we
Correct.
just can't reset.
Yes.
Correct.
Silence.
You can investigate before the
yeah.
fire department gets here as well.
Okay, yeah.
And then when the fire department is here, it's like, oh, we just checked it out, there's nothing going on. I'm sure they want to probably check on their own. And then I guess they'll take it from there,
Yeah, right.
But when an alarm condition comes in, you need to go see what's going on, whether it's a water flow, you need to...
Of course,
identify the
yeah,
problem
that's all. I'm
before
not gonna wait here for the fire department. I'm gonna go check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have this event active right here. If you don't take any action, and you just hit the reset, you can reset all you want. If no one comes
Yes.
in and resets this pole station,
It will come
it's
back
not
again.
it's gonna come back again.
Fire department does the resetting on the actual pole station,
No,
so
no.
that's us too.
No, that's-
Yeah. You can reset it, they can reset it, yeah.
That they won't care about. If I find it's on the 59th floor, someone hit the pole station, I can go up there before they come and reset that.
What we're gonna touch is panel operation. In here, we're gonna review what it looks like for a normal panel, what happens when we have an alarm or an alert. We can review also the report, history, detector sensitivities, and maintenance as well. In other words, disarm, set date, and so on and so forth. I can't show you a normal panel because it's not normal. We still have 56 supervisories in here.
But typically, it's a clear
Clear panel, you're gonna have the fire.
all systems normal, right?
Correct. System normal, and it's gonna sit in Siemens Firefinder XLS. When you have an event, it comes in by priority. So if you have an alarm, supervisory, trouble, all at the same time, the first thing you're gonna see is the alarm, obviously. The order of priority is alarm, supervisory, security, and then troubles. You're gonna have to acknowledge, if you have multiple events, you're gonna have to acknowledge one by one. Not by event, but by priority.
So what are we gonna see up there? Say, if whatever comes in, put an alarm off to the side for a minute.
Okay.
If a supervisory comes in and a security comes in, the first screen that comes up is the supervisory.
Correct.
And how do we know others come in? Is it lit up? Does it show you? So
Yeah,
on the-
it's lit up, or you'll see that it flashes.
Okay, so can you just make it clear to these guys what they're gonna identify? If an alarm comes in, obviously you'll know it's an alarm, that there's audibles, everything,
I don't think you're gonna get audibles here, because this is a residential building. You'll get the alarm here, the fire department will respond, and if you need to make an announcement, you'll pick up the microphone and you hit an all call, which is on top. And then you can make
okay,
your
show
announcement.
these guys.
So right now, can you identify those
Yes.
lights and tell us about it?
Well, I'll tell you right now, this
Okay.
is what it looks like here.
So supervisor signal came in.
Correct, the supervisory signal, and you can see
And now
here that you
trouble.
get a trouble. The only one you're not gonna get is the security. The security, you're gonna probably have to just scroll through it, and you'll see it here if you have an event here on the security menu.
Okay, how do you acknowledge it?
All right, like I said, you're gonna have to acknowledge by priority. So first you start off with the highest priority at the moment right now is supervisory. But if you have an alarm, the alarm will be the first one that you acknowledge and silence before you can move on to the next one. So right now you're under the supervisory category, so you just hit acknowledge. Then you can scroll here to the next category with this one, or you can scroll to the end with this other one here.
So you gotta hit that button on the top. that'll
Hit this
take
one
you
right
to
here
that-
to the next category or to the next unacknowledged category, and then just hit acknowledge. And then, like I said, you'll know that it's active still is because it's flashing. If it's acknowledged or you did,
Now, what if you go to acknowledge, an event under whatever priority, and it doesn't acknowledge?
It's still low.
It'll acknowledge.
It'll
It's
acknowledge.
actually the reset I'm talking about.
Then it'll pop up again, and you have to acknowledge it.
But that's for an alarm, right?
For the alarm,
For
for
alarms
any
that you
for
can't
any-
show us right now.
No, well, you just reset the system and that alarm, that audible sound came on. That's what happens if there's anything still in and you try to reset the system, right?
It just keeps
Correct.
going.
Correct. Now you won't be able to reset the system until everything is acknowledged.
Okay.
So right now at this moment,
Got
the
it.
system is quiet, but you can see that the trouble. We haven't responded to any of the troubles that came
Okay.
in. So once you respond to the troubles and acknowledge, then you'll see that the reset is available. Right.
Then you'll see, once you've acknowledged everything, that button will light up the reset.
Correct. The reset will light up.
Bobby, question. If you have multiple supervisories or multiple troubles, will one acknowledge them all,
Correct.
or do you need to do them one by one?
No.
List down the list? No?
No, you don't have to. Yeah,
You don't
just
have to
once-
scroll it.
Right, right. Now, for instance, though, if you have, let's say, 56 troubles right now, we reset and you acknowledge 48 troubles. The rest that comes in, you do have to acknowledge again. So if depending on how much you have and how quickly you acknowledge, you might have to acknowledge again. It's not the whole one by one that you have to acknowledge, but the whole set. So if you have a trouble again, or you have multiple events here, like for instance the supervisory, you scroll with the up and down, and if you want more info, this would just give you like a general. But if you want more info, you hit the more info button twice, and then it'll break it down to the device type, the event, which is tamper, the switch, if there's more than one switch, because you have 1, 2, 4, depending on the module, the time it came in, and the description for that device. So in other words, the location of that device. If you have more than one event, like I said, you scroll up and down. If you have an alarm, which I'll give you one, we're offline, right?
Yes.
All right, so
Fuel station. That will be the simulation of the activating fuel station.
all right, this is an alarm event. Like I said, there's no audible visuals because this is a residential building and you don't want to wake up your neighbors or anyone in the building. So now this is the first priority. Again, you acknowledge, silence if there's an actual right, but you don't have that here, so that's fine.
But you have to go through that anyway.
Yeah. Silence, acknowledge.
Correct. You're gonna have to go through it in order to get that reset button available to you.
Okay, alright.
Now, do you know, Bobby, do you know if it's okay for these guys to silence it prior to the fire department coming here?
Yeah, they could silence it.
Then we can silence
Just
it.
don't acknowledge or reset it at that point, so they can still see everything.
Right. You can
that's-
acknowledge and silence it, but you just can't reset.
Don't reset.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait till the fire department releases the panel back to you in order for you to do.
Question, I'm sorry if I'm backtracking, Peter, you touched on this, but you said you don't want to sound off the alarm because it's residential, you don't want to wake people up. So how are they gonna, let's say there is, how are we gonna notify everyone if we have to evacuate? The announcer will have to go on there?
You have two options here. You can make an announcement, or you have an evac here, an all evac, which will pretty much hit you like an alarm signal throughout the building.
Okay.
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 I'll touch that right now, but I just want to
Great.
show you. I want to show you what this looks like when it's active.
Because I mean, in one event, if it's an alarm and the fire department's coming, would I not want them to evacuate for safety purposes?
Well, I don't think you want to have them evacuate. I think you investigate first.
Yes.
But I mean, right now I'm one guy on a midnight shift, so investigate that could take a while, you know. And
Good morning. We're here today to have 5 Star Electric and Dave Ed, their fire alarm vendor, perform the owner's training for the fire alarm system that was installed. Okay, we have an agenda that was furnished by Dave Ed that we'll be using as a guide. And we have represented from 5 Star Electric, Leslie behind the camera. We got Dave Ed. This is Bobby from Dave Ed. He's the lead guy here. Dave Ed is going to be doing the training. We have Peter, who is the building super, who will be living here, he's in building. Tom Malloy with Hines, who's on site here. Joe.
Operating engineers.
Why don't you introduce your guys?
Operating engineer is Joe. Operating engineer Tony, and operating engineer Alex.
Okay, so we'll follow the format that Dave Ed listed on there again. So, it'll be Bobby's show basically, and you guys have any questions that come up, please ask now. Okay? Sure.
Let's get started, Bobby.
All right, I'm Bobby from Dave Ed. I guess we're going to be following this training agenda here. We're going to start off with a documentation review. I have several shop drawings here that we can look at. I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to read shop drawings, right?
It's always fun.
All right, we're going to start off with the matrix here. In the matrix, sorry. All right, in the matrix, you're going to find smoke detectors, well, how everything operates here. What they're supposed to do in an event, there's a pulsation or a smoke detector that's active or activated. What turns off, what turns on. And then here, it's pretty much set up with an X giving you per device what the operation of it does.
Doing good, Bobby, doing good.
Well, this matrix, so you guys know, it's really a sequence of operations in a schematical matrix form, right?
Correct.
Every component of the system, if you follow that matrix, it'll tell you what, you know, under what condition, what the end result is going to be, right?
Correct. Correct.
How it's going to function.
Also, you're gonna find here the legend as well. What symbol?
Yeah, the symbols.
What symbol each means. You're gonna also find here the index as well. Also the wiring key as well. What wiring they use for each, for instance, data circuit, audible visual circuits. You're gonna also see here the DGPs and the fire command station on what floors they're located at. All right.
We do have one panel in our room in C2.
Yep. All right, this is a typical Ryder diagram here. It's pretty much set up by floors. In here you'll see what the devices are, or the symbols for the devices, what devices are, the nomenclature, and the address for each device per floor. If there's a symbol there that you're unsure of, you can always refer back to the first page, which is where there's a legend is at, and it'll tell you what the device is for. You won't find here what it does, or for instance, like the matrix, you won't find out here what pulsation or a smoke detector.
Responsible for.
Right,
Yes.
right. And the rest of the floors is pretty much the same thing. In here as well, you'll see that there's a command station here on the first floor, and this specifies what a data gathering panel and what floor is at. And the rest is pretty much typical. The rest is pretty much typical for the floors. In here, this is your typical per device, how it's wired. The device type, how it's wired. You got a pulsation that tells you where the data goes in, where it comes out. Also it does your purge key, your dampers, how it's wired. And if you have an issue, you know, a question as far as how to wire a device or how to troubleshoot a device, you can probably refer to this, and this will tell you what each terminal is for.
This is just for the general information. They wouldn't be, building engineers would not be troubleshooting
Yeah,
and getting into
That's
wiring.
more as a
Like,
reference to our vendor, let's say electricians who come and troubleshoot, that will be helpful.
this will be information for you guys, exactly, Peter. So it'll be, you know, once
Right, I mean, but if you're gonna do like basic, you know, just
Troubleshooting.
right, just basic, or just take a look at it before we come in or before anyone else comes in, you can do that. You can refer to this page here. You know, I mean, the first thing you probably want to check, for instance, if you're working on a damper, is the power. You know, and you want to know where the power is landing on this module. You know, if you have no power there, then you don't have to call us to come in here to you know, because that'll be an electrician's issue. You know.
Once you're finished with these drawings, does that conclude section 1?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, and then I'll start the next.
All right, this is pretty much the layout of the inner door,
of the what?
of the inner door here.
Okay, of the fire alarm control panel.
Fire alarm control panel, right. This is pretty much how it looks like. These are the buttons that you have. Here, these are the addresses for those devices. And you're pretty much not gonna be using this at all. You know, it's
Sure.
just,
So we are reviewing the drawings. Will you provide a book with the devices here, addresses and module devices and zones, or this is the
you
only
want a
document?
points list, in other
Yes,
words. A points list, yeah, you go, yeah, my office can provide a points list for you guys.
That's what
and
we would
then
like to
email us.
have on site.
Yeah, not a problem,
Okay.
not a problem.
Does this conclude section 1?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Okay, in this binder here, you're gonna have a full set of drawings, miniature sized drawings that mimic the construction drawings. You're also gonna have here the operation manual and the control panel manual as well. So this is a complete set. And this is gonna be left with
Peter.
Peter.
And the engineers.
Correct, and the engineers.
Peter, will the points you mentioned earlier?
Points,
He's got my email address. You will
yeah, the points list are being sent today.
They're not in there?
They're not in here, no.
Okay.
Currently not yet, but if, once he gets it, if he wants to put it in here, it might be a better idea to have everything in one spot.
You gonna
Alright.
show us what's in there?
Okay, like I said, this is a full manual here. Yes, thank you. The front. Okay, here you go. What I handed out earlier was a Pmi manual. This is a full set installation, operation, and maintenance manual. You're also gonna find here, the next here, the PMI operation manual, which is how to disable, acknowledge, walk test, put it in walk test. This is what you're gonna look for in this here. And I think that's it. Okay, this is just a small like a cheat sheet on how to operate the panel here.
This is important.
And this is your purge control, your smoke control operation, and your elevator smoke vent operation instructions. And this is just an overview. And here you have, like I said, the miniature drawings. Pretty much
So
what.
he purge control, he's got a document in there for your purge control.
Those are all mini drawings of all the Ryder diagrams.
Another section and this.
Oh, there you go. And this is the training agenda.
that we're going through.
There you
Okay.
go.
Good morning. We're here today to have 5 Star Electric and Dave Ed, their fire alarm vendor, perform the owner's training for the fire alarm system that was installed. Okay, we have an agenda that was furnished by Dave Ed that we'll be using as a guide. And we have represented from 5 Star Electric, Leslie behind the camera. And we got Dave Ed. This is Bobby from Dave Ed. He's the lead guy here. Dave Ed is going to be doing the training. We have Peter, who is the building super, who will be living here, he's in building. Tom Malloy with Hines, who's on site here. Joe.
Operating engineers.
Why don't you introduce your guys?
Operating engineer is Joe. Operating engineer Tony, and operating engineer Alex.
Okay, so we'll follow the format that Dave Ed listed on their agenda. So, it'll be Bobby's show basically, and you guys have any questions that come up, please ask now. Okay?
So let's get started, Bobby.
All right, I'm Bobby from Dave Ed. I guess we're going to be following this training agenda here. We're going to start off with a documentation review. I have several shop drawings here that we can look at. I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to read shop drawings, right?
It's always fun.
All right, we're going to start off with the matrix here. In the matrix, sorry. All right, in the matrix, you're going to find smoke detectors, well, how everything operates here. What they're supposed to do in an event, there's a pulsation or a smoke detector that's active or activated. What turns off, what turns on. And then here, it's pretty much set up with an X, giving you per device what the operation of it does.
Real good, Bobby, real good.
Well, this matrix, so you guys know, it's really a sequence of operations in a schematical matrix form, right?
Correct.
Every component of the system, if you follow that matrix, it'll tell you what, under what condition, what the end result is gonna be, right? at the
Correct.
top,
Correct.
How it's gonna function.
Also, you're gonna find here the legend as well. What symbol?
Yeah, the symbols.
What symbol each means. You're gonna also find here the index as well. Also the wiring key as well. What wiring they use for each, for instance, data circuit, audible visual circuits. You're gonna also see here the DGPs and the fire command station on what floors they're located at. All right.
We do have one panel in our room in C2.
Go up, right side up. Yep. All right, this is the typical Ryder diagram here. It's pretty much set up by floors. In here you'll see what the devices are, or the symbols for the devices, what devices are, the nomenclature, and the address for each device per floor. If there's a symbol there that you're unsure of, you can always refer back to the first page, which is where there's a legend is at, and it'll tell you what the device is for. You won't find here what it does, or for instance, like the matrix, you won't find out here what pulsation or a smoke detector.
Responsible for.
Right,
Yes.
right. And the rest of the floors is pretty much the same thing. In here as well, you'll see that there's a command station here on the first floor, and this specifies what a data gathering panel and what floor is at. And the rest is pretty much typical. The rest is pretty much typical for the floors. In here, This is your typical per device, how it's wired. The device type, how it's wired. You got a pull station that tells you where the data goes in, where it comes out. Also does your purge key, your dampers, how it's wired. And if you have an issue, you know, a question as far as how to wire a device or how to troubleshoot a device, you can probably refer to this, and this will tell you what each terminal is for.
This is just for the general information. They wouldn't be,
Yes.
building engineers would not be troubleshooting
Yeah,
or
general,
getting into
That's more
wiring.
as a
Like,
reference to our vendor, let's say electricians who come and troubleshoot, that will be helpful.
this will be information for you guys, exactly, Peter, so it'll be, you know, no-
Right, I mean, but if you're gonna do like basic, you know, just,
Troubleshooting.
right, just basic, or just take a look at it before we come in, or before anyone else comes in, you can do that, you can refer to this page here. You know, I mean, the first thing you will probably wanna check, for instance, if you're working on a damper, is the power. You know, and you wanna know where the power is landing on this module. You know, if you have no power there, then you don't have to call us to come in here to you know, cause that'll be an electrician's issue, you know?
Once you're finished with these drawings, does that conclude section 1?
Yeah, would think so.
Okay, and then I'll start the next.
All right, this is pretty much the layout of the inner door,
Of the what?
of the inner door here.
Okay, of the fire alarm control panel.
Fire alarm control panel, right. This is pretty much how it looks like. These are the buttons that you have. Here, these are the addresses for those devices. And you're pretty much not gonna be using this at all. You know, it's just,
So we are reviewing the drawings. Will you provide a book with the devices here, addresses and module development zones, or this is the
you
only-
want a points list, in other
Yes,
words. A points list, yeah, you do. Yeah, my office can provide a points list for you guys.
That's what
and
we would
they'll
like to
email it
have
to
on
you.
site.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Does this conclude section 1?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
We're moving on to section 2, system overview, which will touch fire alarm control panels, data gathering panels, remote annunciators, and so on and so forth. We have the fire alarm panel here. This is what it looks like. This is where your head end is at. This is where the only place that you're going to be able to have controls over the system. You have an annunciator that's located, I believe, C2. The only thing that you're going to be able to do with that is just view what's going on in the panel here. You could acknowledge it, but that's just acknowledging locally to that panel that's downstairs. If you acknowledge downstairs, it's not doing anything down here, up here. So you're going to have to come up here to acknowledge and silence or whatever you need to do, reset. You got to come up here. We have this the central station, which is the one right above here. Any event that happens, it'll send a signal via that transmitter to central station, and the fire department or whoever is going to respond accordingly to every signal.
Hey, Bobby, is that only, central station only gets alarms, they don't get, or they get everything?
They get general alarms, general signals, pretty much. If there's a pulsation, they'll get a pulsation, a smoke. They won't get any locations. You gotta come up here to see what the location is.
And when they get an alarm condition, they dial the truck, the fire truck.
Correct.
Only with the alarm, right?
Only with the alarm.
Supervisory, security, all that stuff. None of that stuff goes to.
The security, we would have to check, because the security, they might act as
a local?
No, they might act as a burglary or something like that. So they might just send the police trucks, the police over here, not the fire trucks. That we have to verify that, because every central station is a little different with that. But like I said, yeah, only alarms. Well, whether it be water flow, smoke detectors, pull stations, they'll send a separate signal for each, and the fire department will respond to those. At that point, you know, you should let the fire department come in, see what the issue is, and then you cannot reset it until they give you the okay
Yeah,
to
this is
reset.
very important part of our training. There are 4 types of alarm systems: security, trouble, supervisory, and fire alarm. So the protocol will say, until the fire department comes in and gives us a clearance to reset, we are not allowed to touch this
and press any buttons.
Okay.
So the fire
Leave it
chief
as
comes in
is.
on site, identify the issue, and then give you a clearance to reset the alarm.
Correct, and that only be, an alarm only. So
Alarm
like I
only.
said, Smoke
So
detector.
supervisory, trouble, or security is a different type. The
Right.
central station is notified, but it doesn't send the fire truck to
department.
the site.
Okay, gotcha.
Correct.
All right, makes sense.
Correct. You have multiple DGPs, I don't recall what the numbers is, I believe it's 8, I think. They're
8
spread
per
out,
the-
they're spread out throughout the floors. Maybe you wanna know the location, you can refer back to the drawings. The drawings will tell you what the location is, and I believe it's in the telephone card.
Excuse me, guys. Can we get on? Visual.
Remote annunciator, so one is located here.
No,
That's not remote annunciator, right? Downstairs.
this is that's your heading, this is your PMI, this is where like your master controls is.
Okay.
Like I said, this is where if you need to reset, if you need to do a fan reset or disable or put it in test, you come up here. Alright, as you know, I mean, we have smoke detectors, heat detectors, pull stations throughout the building. If any of them should be pulled or go off or activate, you'll get a description here, location, address, time you came in, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So you can respond to it accordingly.
Guys, we will have a separate meeting, to how to identify each detector. There are different types of detectors, smoke detectors, heat detectors, tag detectors, so each of you should be able to identify what it is, because there are different type of detectors throughout the building.
Well, let's say, before you go on, let's just say what happened with you. You were downstairs by the enunciator, right? He didn't even come up here. He just went to right where the problem was.
Yes, because
So
that's
we should leave this as is. So if the fire department does show up, they're gonna come see this and they're gonna have to clear this themselves. Well, they'll tell us to clear this. They want to see it on.
Right, I mean, you can respond whichever way you want to. Again, it's just a mirror image, but you have no controls downstairs. So if you want to go,
Acknowledge it and just go right to the 10th floor.
yeah, you
wherever
don't
it's
even have to
saying.
acknowledge it. You can just go
Just
to the
a
10th
mimic
floor.
pattern.
So fire alarm,
Okay.
you don't acknowledge.
Right, you don't have to acknowledge it. You can just go to the point of incident and do what you have to do.
And then come
come
meet the
back
fire
down
department.
and then come right. If the fire department is on its way, then yeah.
Right. If there's water flow, it's gonna
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. Now, if you have the system offline, the fire department is not going to respond.
Right, that I
So
know.
if there's an actual event,
We have to
then
call 911
you're gonna have to
ourselves.
call.
The
Correct.
central station won't even. They won't even.
They will receive the signal, but they won't acknowledge it as an
We're
actual
offline.
signal. Correct. You're offline.
Okay.
Since we're on the topic of smoke detectors, a lot of the smoke detectors in the building are uncovered. How bad are they gonna get? How long do you think till we have to reprogram them, pull them, replace them? Is that gonna be a big problem for us?
Now that you have ongoing construction, it might be, but the panel will tell you if it's dirty, if it's reached pre-dirty limit. At that point, cleaning it out might clear it, but I advise to just replace it at that point.
Do you recommend if we see a detector uncovered that we put the cover back on if we have
During
it?
construction, I would probably do so.
They're very sensitive, right?
Yeah, and they'll fill up with dirt, and then at the to the point where you have to replace them anyways.
But all those smoke heads are labeled though, those covers.
They have an
So
address.
yeah, so we cross it out, or we have to go
they
accordingly.
should- The address is helping identify.
Right.
He's saying if
But should we relabel it ourselves or just cross out that label? Because we had to get an
You
extra.
don't have to have the number.
Right. Okay. All right. So it's gonna.
But you do the black magic mark on the red
Yeah,
pen.
exactly. So Michael had given us one to cover one, and he crossed out.
Yeah,
the
you don't
label
have
itself.
to really put that
Oh,
was
okay.
just
That's just for everyone else to
Right,
make it
right.
easier to find it.
right now. With covering it, then you also need protection on the floor as well. So it's a touchy subject. It depends on the building. If you want to
Right.
cover it to keep the smoke detector clean, but then maybe you should uncover it at the end of the day
When they're
construction
done
is
work up
over.
there. Okay. Right. Okay.
Right, because then at that point, there's nobody in the building. If there's an actual event, the smoke detector is covered. It's not going to work like that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to uncover some of these detectors now. That's
Right.
why that smoke detector's
Yeah,
uncovered.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
it's pick your poison, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we touch detectors. Can you talk about the manual pull stations? How many we have and where are they located? I see one over here.
Correct, one over here, and they're usually located by the stairways or in exits. So off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but again, if you refer back to the drawing will tell you how many devices or how many pull stations, the amount of devices per floor, or in general, the total building. All right, let's see
We
what
have
else.
outlets and visuals. Do we have any strobe lights?
I believe you have a handful of strobe lights, not many at all. Again, I believe they only go off in the event of a smoke detector going off. That's it. I don't even think the speakers are gonna go off, because being that this is a residential area,
No, they won't.
they're not gonna go off. The use of the speakers are just for announcements. Right, right. You have isolation modules as well. The isolation modules is per floor. So in other words, that if there's an isolation module on the floor and you have a short on the system, it's only gonna kill it on that floor. It's only gonna kill that floor, not the whole loop. So which is,
So
added
an
protection.
isolation module, just, if you have a device, an end device that shorts out or fails, it doesn't take the whole loop out, is that what you?
Correct. It's a short. If it fails, you'll get a specific point that fails. But if it's for instance a short, that'll kill the loop up to the isolation module. If you didn't have the isolation module in place, then it would kill the whole loop, the whole complete loop, which is 250 points if you're using all of it,
Yeah.
as opposed to 20 per floor. You know. So you have also interface modules, which are being used for water flows, tampers, fire pump, run, fail, reversal. Those are your interface modules.
The interface modules are just what, communication?
Yeah, we're just waiting for a signal from whatever we're monitoring. So you have the fire pump. If it goes into failure, we're waiting for a short to receive the signal back to the sprinkler. Right. I think that touches everything on.
You have
section
your
2, right?
notification equipment. Did you cover that already?
Yes, the audible and visuals, we touched that already.
All right, so this concludes the system overview.
Correct.
Good morning. We're here today to have 5 Star Electric and Dave Ed, their fire alarm vendor, perform the owner's training for the fire alarm system that was installed. Okay, we have an agenda that was furnished by Dave Ed that we'll be using as a guide. And we have represented from 5 Star Electric, Leslie behind the camera. We've got Dave Ed. This is Bobby from Dave Ed. He's the lead guy here from Dave Ed, is going to be doing the training. We have Peter, who is the building super, who will be living here, he'll be his building. Tom Malloy with Hines, who's on site here. Joe.
Operating engineers.
Why don't you introduce your guys?
Operating engineers Joe, operating engineer Tony, and operating engineer Alex.
Okay, so we'll follow the format that Dave Ed listed on their agenda. So, it'll be Bobby's show basically, and you guys have any questions that come up, please ask now. Okay?
Sure. So let's get started, Bobby.
All right, I'm Bobby from Dave Ed. I guess we're going to be following this training agenda here. We're going to start off with a documentation review. I have several shop drawings here that we can look at. I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to read shop drawings, right?
It's always fun.
All right, we're going to start off with the matrix here. In the matrix, sorry. All right, in the matrix, you're going to find smoke detectors, well, how everything operates here, what they're supposed to do in the event there's a pulsation or a smoke detector that's active or activated, what turns off, what turns on, and then here it's pretty much set up with an X giving you per device what the operation of it does.
Doing good, Bobby. Doing good.
Well, this matrix, so you guys know, it's really a sequence of operations in a schematical matrix form, right?
Correct.
Every component of the system, if you follow that matrix, it'll tell you what, you know, under what condition, what the end result is gonna be, right? At the
Correct.
top,
Correct.
How it's gonna function.
Also, you're gonna find here the legend as well. What symbol?
Yeah, the symbols.
What symbol each means. You're gonna also find here the index as well. Also the wiring key as well. What wiring they use for each, for instance, data circuit, audible visual circuits. You're gonna also see here the DGPs and the fire command station on what floors they're located at. All right.
We do have one panel in our room in C2.
Yep. All right, this is a typical Ryder diagram here. It's pretty much set up by floors. In here you'll see what the devices are, or the symbols for the devices, what devices are, the nomenclature, and the address for each device per floor. If there's a symbol there that you're unsure of, you can always refer back to the first page, where there's a legend is at, and it'll tell you what the device is for. You won't find here what it does, or for instance, like the matrix, you won't find out here what a pulsation or a smoke detector.
Responsible for.
Right, right. And the rest of the floors is pretty much the same thing. In here as well, you'll see that there's a command station here on the first floor, and this specifies what a data gathering panel and what floor is at. And the rest is pretty much typical. The rest is pretty much typical for the floors. In here, this is your typical per device, how it's wired. The device type, how it's wired. You got a pulsation that tells you where the data goes in, where it comes out. Also, it does your purge key, your damper, how it's wired. And if you have an issue, a question as far as how to wire a device or how to troubleshoot a device, you can probably refer to this, and this will tell you what each terminal is for.
This is just for the general information. They wouldn't be, building engineers would not be troubleshooting
Yeah,
and
general,
getting into
That's
wire.
more as a
Like,
reference to our vendor, let's say electricians who come and troubleshoot, that will be helpful.
this will be information for you guys, exactly, Peter. So it'll be,
Right, I mean, but if you're gonna do like basic, just
Troubleshooting.
just basic, or just take a look at it before we come in or before anyone else comes in, you can do that. You can refer to this page here. I mean, the first thing you will probably want to check, for instance, if you're working on a damper, is the power. And you want to know where the power is landed on this module. If you have no power there, then you don't have to call us to come in here to because that'll be an electrician's issue.
Once you're finished with these drawings, does that conclude section 1?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, and then I'll start the next.
All right, this is pretty much the layout of the inner door,
of the what?
of the inner door here.
Okay, of the fire alarm control panel.
Fire alarm control panel, right. This is pretty much how it looks like. These are the buttons that you have. Here, these are the addresses for those devices. And you're pretty much not gonna be using this at all. It's just
So we are reviewing the drawings. Will you provide a book with the devices here, addresses and module devices and zones, or this is the
No,
only?
you want a points list, in other
Yes,
words. A points list, yeah, you go, yeah, my office can provide a points list for you guys.
That's what
and
we would
they'll
like to
email
have
it.
on site.
Yeah, not a problem,
Okay.
not a problem.
Does this conclude section one?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.